Hello. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Tawana Brown, and I serve as the Assistant Director in Parent and Family Programs. We have started a new series. It's called Before You Go. And we want to provide you with a little information about things that your students should be doing or knowing when they return home for Thanksgiving break and Christmas break. Our goal is for you to have this information so you can encourage your student to accomplish some of these things during this series that you will hear. And so I just want to turn it over to Tori, who is from Financial Aid, to share a little bit about information that they feel that your student and you should know about during the break. Tori.
Thanks, Tawana. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started sharing this little presentation I've put together for you all. As she said, my name is Tori. I am one of the coordinators here in Student Financial Aid. So I'm just going to be talking a little bit today about how you guys can be preparing for the spring semester. So spring bills are going to post November 15th. That should be after everyone has registered for their spring classes. So that's when the student will be able to log into their MyBama account and view their student bill. And then those bills will be due on December 10th, right in time, for the holidays. Good little present. So those bills will be available to view November 15th, and then they will be due December 10th. The good thing about spring is that most of the time students are pretty much good to go as long as they have gone onto their MyBama accounts in the fall semester and accepted their aid for the year. They should be good to go for spring. Their bill should pretty much automatically be taken care of. But the students do want to make sure that they're getting onto their MyBama accounts and reviewing their financial aid awards and their scholarships for the spring semester. Make sure that all of their aid has been accepted, that they want to accept, and make sure that they've completed every step that they need to so that that aid will apply to their account. And just a quick review of all of the types of aid that they should be expecting to see on there, or some of the types of aid that they'll see. The aid that we offer through federal financial aid comes in the form of grants, work study, and loans. So most likely they were offered those at the top of the year and they accepted them for the year, but just review those offers, make sure that they've been accepted. Sometimes students will get work study offers later in the year, so have the students go on and check and make sure they haven't been awarded work study, and if they do want to accept that, they can go through the steps to accept that. And any questions, of course, can come to our office. We'd be happy to help you guys if you have questions or if you just want to double check that everything has been accepted and then it's good to go. So that's really all that needs to be done for the spring semester. Check those MyBama accounts, make sure everything looks like it's in order, and everything should automatically post to the student's bill by that December 10th due date. Just a quick little reminder of the additional sources of funding for spring. A lot of these, again, are going to be annual awards, so they probably are already taken care of, but just get onto that MyBama account or look at your records to make sure that everything is set for the spring semester. And again, you can call us with any questions. So might seem a little early, but now is actually also the time to be preparing for next year as well, not just the spring semester, but the 22-23 academic year. So the FAFSA for next year is already open. It opened on October 1st. And the priority date for that FAFSA is December 1st. And what that means is that if your student wants to be considered for the maximum amount of funding, they want to make sure that we have their FAFSA by December 1st. So if your students haven't filled out their FAFSA yet, they should go and renew their FAFSAs for this year. They do have to do it each year. And then just make sure that they're keeping an eye on their Crimson emails, just to make sure if they're getting any updates from us about things that need to be submitted. Of course, most of you guys did this last year, and the good news is that renewals are usually a lot quicker than filling it out for the first time because you kind of know what you're doing and some of that information is already in there. But those FAFSAs can be renewed on the My Student Aid app or at studentaid.gov. And just as a reminder, completely free to fill out the FAFSA. So if you happen to not fill one out last year, you can definitely fill one out this year. And in fact, another little reminder for spring, if you didn't fill out a FAFSA for the fall semester, you can definitely still fill out a 21-22 FAFSA in case you need funding for spring. And all of that can be done on these websites or on the app. So that's my little spiel. That's really all the info you guys need to get ready for spring and sort of start thinking about financial aid for next year. Again, if you have any questions, we are always available. We are very responsive by email, and we have a call center full of wonderful graduate assistants who are always willing to help you. And the advisors and myself are here as well. So if you need anything, give us a call. If you happen to be on campus, you can come visit us in 106 Student Services Center, and we would be happy to help you.
Sorry, so I was muted. So thank you, Tori. I just had one question. So if students are not able to get into the FAFSA website, do they need to contact your office? That was one of the questions that we got.
Yeah, so there have been some, I think, traffic issues with the website, just with everyone sort of going on, in this time of year. If they're having issues getting on to the FAFSA website or getting logged in, it's actually going to be better for them to call the FAFSA helpline than it is for them to call us, just because there isn't a whole lot that we can do on that end.
Thank you. And then one more question that we got. So if they are paying out of pocket, will they need to complete the FAFSA?
No, it's definitely not required to complete the FAFSA. We always recommend it because, sometimes there's a random scholarship that a student will get and they require them to have a FAFSA on file. But if, a student and a parent are 100% certain that they're going to pay out of pocket completely, they don't want to use federal aid at all, then no, it's not required for them to have a FAFSA on file.
Thank you. And then if, say, in the middle of, because things can change in the middle of the semester, parents may lose a job or their income decreases or increases, how should they go about notifying you all if there is a drastic decrease in the amount of income that they reported? How could they let someone know to potentially get more aid?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very common occurrence right now, especially, the last few years. So what we have is a process called the income reduction process. And what parents and students can do is whatever FAFSA they've filed. So say, for example, they filed a 21-22 FAFSA and the parent lost their job in November. They could just call and let us know about that situation. We would let them know about the income reduction process. And it's just some paperwork basically that they're filling out, documenting the job loss or whatever income change has occurred. And if they get that paperwork to us and it is approved, we can reduce the income that was listed on the FAFSA to be more accurate for the current situation.
Awesome. Well, I think that was all of the questions that I had and that I saw. And so I just want to thank everyone for joining us and taking the time to gain a little bit of this information. Kind of like I said at the beginning, our goal with this series is to provide you, the parents and family members, with information that you can relate to their student when they return home, or just be able to be a helpful resource. We have another webinar next week that we hope you attend, and that'll be from the registrar's office. And so it will also be at 12. And so we hope that you can attend that one. And again, thank you so much, and Roll Tide.